Hi, everybody. Welcome into the show. It is Wednesday evening during a week that feels more and more like spring every single day. And we've got showers and thunderstorms that are on the way as a result. So we kind of have that payoff when we get spring like temperatures. But good to be with you guys this evening. I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. I know it's busy work week, busy school week as the kids are wrapping up here last probably 4 or 5 weeks of school. So a lot of you parents out there have a lot going on. So I get it. So we're going to jump right in the broadcast if that's okay. We'll briefly thank our sponsors. This is their bonus broadcast. But again, if you need any of these trades in Northwest Indiana, they're all family-owned, wonderful businesses. Earl's Heating and Air Conditioning, the most trusted heating companion in Northeast or Northwest Indiana, serving Schererville, Lake and Porter County since 1976. Guys, if you need a new AC or you need your AC tuned up, bottom line, go to Earl's. It's earlsheating.com is the website to go to. Romans Roofing, if you're in need of a new roof or perhaps you just have a leak you need to get fixed, Romans does it all. They do commercial properties, they do gutters, windows, siding, all sorts of things, and they do an amazing job. They're local out of the Hobart area, but serving all of Northwest Indiana. Again, if you need them, they'll have inspections. They can come out, do that for free. They'll give you estimates for free as well. RomansRoofing.net is the place to go there. When first impressions mean everything, make your home the envy of the neighborhood with expertly placed outdoor lighting. You've got the yard done. You've got the flowers that are starting to pop. Now make your property pop with some good lighting. It's hard to do on our own, especially with those little solar lights, but I'll tell you, Great Lakes Lighting does an amazing job. I've seen some of their work. LightUpNWI.com is the place to go, or Great Lakes Lighting over on the Facebook page. PublicServiceAdjusting.com. If you have any insurance claims, go to them first. They'll do everything between you and your insurance company. Again, a lot of you have used them for storm damage, and you're very impressed. 5-star reviews across the board. PublicServiceAdjusting.com. Minogue.life, the place to go. Michael's the expert in the world of life insurance, Medicare, Medicaid. He knows it all, and there are some plan benefits that you've signed up for, perhaps by phone or by just by online, and you don't know what benefits you're getting. He'd love to sit down with you and do a no-cost consultation. He'll sit down and go over your plan, make sure you're getting the most out of it, or maybe you're paying too much for a plan. He'll figure that out for you as well. Again, Minogue.life is the website to go to there. T&T Tree Service, if you guys have any tree problems on your property, branches, something's dying or something fell, let T&T Tree Service clean it up for you. They do it with excellence, serving Northwest Indiana. Call today or visit tttreeservice.com. TigerPlumbing.net, the place to go for your local plumber. FBIBuildings.com, the place to go if you need a new pole barn renovated or constructed. They've done over 20,000 of them in the Midwest. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram for all your Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep, all those needs. They do a great job. They've got great new Jeeps ready to go over at Grieger's. And finally, last but not least, Kate Cusack for Ruoff Mortgage. It is home buying season. It's in full swing. She's super ready to go in terms of getting you the home that you deserve and the home that you are ready for. She'll get you pre-approved, ready to go. Still a very competitive market, and Kate can get you the step in so you can get that dream home, or maybe starter home. Maybe it's your first home, whatever it happens to be. Kate Cusack, Home Loan Girl on Facebook, the place to go. All right, let's thank our folks for joining. Who's first tonight? Jeff, good evening to you. You made it first. Nice job, buddy. I hope everything's going well. Hope you're enjoying your week so far. Jan's with us over on our YouTube channel. Hi, Jan. Dawn from Mayberry is joining us on our YouTube channel. Hey, Dawn. Hope you're doing okay. Jan said she had to stop mowing because of the rain. Yeah, we got our first dose of rain through here with the system that's moving in. Wendy's with us. Patty, good evening to you. Angel, hi. Mary's with us as well. We've got Susan. And oh no, Maxwell, you okay, bud? Yeah, I've been sick last 3 days. Gonna go see doctor tomorrow. I hope everything's okay there, buddy. A lot going around. I mean, from leftover kind of from winter. I feel like I know the schools have still been dealing with it here locally. So I hope you get that checked out and get fixed. All right, let's talk weather pattern across the U.S. I just love this time of year. You get that higher sun angle, almost as high as it gets, and you get such a good satellite view. The satellite view just shows all the clouds, all the boundaries, all the everything on it when you have the visible satellite this time of year. In the wintertime with the lower sun angle and the fact the sun's not up as long here in the northern hemisphere, it's not really a good picture. You get like a 4 or 5 hour chunk of time where you can see everything, but it's not quite as illuminated. So this shows us a lot here. Not only do we see the clouds that are moving through, there were showers underneath this first batch. We get a little break here, but then down towards the south, you look at these explosive thunderstorms. Downstate, there are some in southern Illinois as well. You can see some poking out of the stratus cloud top out of Missouri. These are thunderstorms, and this is where your severe risk is down towards the south. I am not worried about severe weather with the system moving in, at least locally. Off of all these storms down towards the south, you get this big shield of cirrus clouds. Those cumulonimbus clouds go way up in the atmosphere, some 40 to 50,000 feet. The jet stream then, and just upper level winds in general, will take that cloud and shear it off, and it becomes this wispy, feathery cirrus cloud. That's why when you see those in advance of a storm system, you often know that something's coming, right? It means you have thunderstorms or some kind of cloud growth that's producing that. So that's what we see on the northern tier. Then back in the Rockies, look at all these explosive storms in a line out of the Dakotas down in Nebraska. Just a beautiful view on the satellite. But for us here locally, our concern is the system's moving in. You notice the clouds are coming our way, and we certainly do have another area of low pressure. This is the same low that went by. Remember, we had the cold front yesterday morning that went through. Temperatures slowly scaled back throughout the day yesterday. Well, that front settled to the south. It's developed a new low pressure as it kind of stalled, and now the whole thing's coming back at us. And so what we've got is a pretty rainy pattern that's going to take over here as we go throughout the overnight into tomorrow. It's not going to be a washout, but we're going to have a lot of scattered downpours around from time to time. And you can see it on radar. We're getting into that time of year where there's just not a lot of organization to storm systems. It's more of a mess on radar and on satellite. And you can see it's a mess. There's storms breaking out downstate. There's a big complex down towards Arkansas. And then you just get a ton of scattered little lines of showers and downpours and storms out towards our west. So a lot of features going on. A lot of them rely on boundaries or areas of wind that come out from previous storms to kind of develop new storms. And that's the season we're getting into. More notably, though, we had some light rain that moved through. We get a little break, as I mentioned. Then you can see some of this rain organizing downstate. This will bring some good downpours in here later on tonight, all right, like well after sunset. So let's take a look at it in terms of hour by hour here. We'll take you through the model I like best. I think the HRRR's doing a good job with this. It's picked up in the light rain. It's picking up on our break, picking up on the storms downstate. You see as we go through time, some of that heavier rain comes in here just after midnight into the early morning hours. And then tomorrow morning, we'll likely have some pretty heavy downpours around on radar. This is getting into that morning rush hour time frame as this low develops and continues to strengthen slowly, but it'll strengthen and it'll head right over us. It's not going to be an incredibly deep low, but if you're someone that suffers from those migraines when we have a low pressure that moves through, you may be feeling this one. So keep that in mind. That would be tonight into tomorrow that you would be feeling this. So there's that. But the good news is we're going to get some rain. I know we've gone dry around here. A lot of lawns not doing so well. We've got the crunch going on. Some of the mud's caking up and looking kind of cracked like we live in the desert, depending on your location. And we could use the rain, and we are going to get some rain tonight. Hopefully some good downpours out of this. And then tomorrow throughout the day, the low heads north. We'll still have a nice southwest flow. And look at the track of the storm. See how it's going from southwest to northeast, like right over us? Because of that track, it's actually pulling Gulf of Mexico, or Gulf of America, whatever you call it, Gulf air and Gulf moisture and humidity north, all right? And so as a result, a system's going to go by, but it's not going to get colder. It's actually going to get warmer tomorrow. So we'll have humidity that's on the increase. We'll have temperatures that are summer-like again, and it's actually going to be kind of a warm and humid day. So that's going to be one of the reasons why we can spark downpours from time to time. The cooler air with this system arrives as we go into the weekend. So we get kind of a bonus day tomorrow. So the low heads north, still have a nice southwest flow throughout the day. It'll spark some showers and thunderstorms. And then as we get, and again, I don't think there's going to be anything severe of this locally. Our atmosphere is not set up for that. I think out towards Ohio, Kentucky, there could be some severe weather there, but I'm not worried here. Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, yeah, I could see a severe thunderstorm there. And it'd primarily be with any of this activity you see here in this leading edge, and then maybe some straggler activity in the evening. But either way, on and off downpours. By the time we get towards tomorrow evening, we are going to have a wind shift, all right? And that wind shift is going to start to blow in cooler air and drier air. It won't be quite as humid as we go on into Friday, and then especially Saturday, it'll be turned downright chilly. But notice how we have no really clearing behind the system. The low heads north. We've got another wave of energy that produces perhaps some showers on Friday, while there's storms down to the south. Another little wave here that will swing through on the base of this trough on Saturday. So we've got rain chances the next couple of days. Our best chance of rain, and again, I posted this earlier and when I did the rainfall, day by day through the weekend, our best chance of rain is going to be tomorrow. That's going to be our best coverage. But then we've got scattered showers and maybe a downpour or two Friday and Saturday as well, as we get these little ripples of energy through with a lot of dry hour in between, okay? So that's kind of what we're looking at, kind of a messy radar here over the next couple of days. Storm Prediction Center says, this evening, severe weather downstate. I'm not too worried about us locally. Might have a rumble of thunder or two overnight, but again, I'm not worried about severe weather down towards Texas, including the Big D in Dallas. And then tomorrow it shifts east. Notice how there is a marginal threat, says the Storm Prediction Center, for areas just to our south as you get over towards Plymouth, Fort Wayne, then down towards Indianapolis. That's where the threat really begins. We don't have a severe threat tomorrow. Could have a thunderstorm, but I'm not dealing with that threat. And then it ramps up as it gets out towards the east. And then after that, it kind of holds in that area as this front kind of stalls out with just kind of a rogue severe weather chance, Ohio Valley down towards the Tennessee Valley as we go on into Friday and Saturday. All right. So where do I want to go from there? We'll talk rain into the weekend. I want to show you when that system clears out or doesn't. But I want to talk upper level pattern because this is the flow of the air masses. This tells us if we're going to warm up for a while. It tells us where the cold air is and if it's set to come in and kind of where we are in between. Where these colors blend between the cool to the north and this warm down to the south, where you see kind of this stripe of red to yellow and orange, that's where the jet stream typically is, all right, between the cold air mass and the warm air mass. And that's where it is right now. And so the jet stream's in play right now. But watch what happens. This is Friday, Saturday into Sunday. Notice how the jet buckles, all right, we get this big old ridge, and the jet stream kind of heads up into Canada and says, see you later, United States. And then what happens is we're stuck with this low that kind of breaks off of the main flow, all right? And this low pressure gets cut off. This is called a cutoff low, all right? And it gets cut off and it kind of rotates like a lost bubble across the eastern U.S., all right? And this thing and cutoff lows produce fits in the weather forecasting world because the models, it's not often there is a cutoff low, so the models don't have a lot of data or feedback based on how they behave. Plus, they all behave differently. They're literally just kind of rolling around until something picks them up, aka the jet stream, and pulls it along. And the models aren't good at depicting when it gets pulled and what exactly pulls it. So as a result, forecast is kind of in question next week in terms of where this cutoff low goes. And why does that matter? Because there's going to be a swirling area of rain and clouds and cooler temperatures where this cutoff low is. And it's interesting because I swear every single year in May, there's some kind of cutoff low that develops and sits over Indiana. I'm not kidding, for days. While the rest of the country is in the 80s, we typically are in the 50s or 60s for a week or 5 days or so with some kind of cutoff low. Every year, I'm telling you, it happens. And the big question is, where does this cutoff low go? Does it affect us or does it stay further off towards the east? That's the big question. This map looks kind of scary now that I'm looking at it. Looks like two eyes. It's kind of frightening. There's going to be another cutoff low out towards the west. But this is that pattern that stalls, right? Everything kind of holds as the jet stream blows everything off towards the north. You get this blocking pattern in place. And so we're now Monday, we're now Tuesday, now Wednesday. The models are indicating, perhaps at least the Euro is, that there's going to be enough of a trough to absorb that low. Meanwhile, we've got another one out west. And notice how it just kind of sits around. It gets absorbed here. A new one kind of gets cut off and forms. And then eventually the pattern gets moving again with a nice ridge in the extended. But all that to say, there's going to be this area of rain that we really need to watch in the next week. And that forecast is very changeable. Your phone app's probably been changing. It's going to be flopping back and forth, all right? So here we go, going through time. Here's our real good chance of rain and storms tomorrow. Remember, it's not a solid block. This dark green on the Euro on this modeling just shows where a good chance of rain is. So it could rain at any time, basically, throughout the day tomorrow as that low pulls north. And then here's Friday now. Notice how Friday the main low's gone. We've got kind of this appendage that is back here in areas of Dakotas right now. That finally swings through. Whoops, wrong map. That finally swings through with some showers on Friday. Not a washout. There'll be some dry hours, but we'll have some rain. And then Saturday, we've got a cooler flow in here as everything kind of wraps up. It'll pull some cool air in from Canada. So we'll have some showers around, but it's going to be on the chilly side. We may not get out of the 50s on Saturday. But even this time of year, I mean, 50s aren't terrible, right? It doesn't feel that bad. 60s are nice too. So no more really, really cold stuff. That's the good news. And then the system looked like it was going to pull out on Sunday, right? But remember that cutoff low that kind of swirls off of this, that cutoff low is now trending further west. So as a result, we would have this shield of clouds perhaps on Sunday with some rain swirling really close to the area. Here's Monday. Where's the cutoff low? Right here over Indiana. Tuesday, let's go to that. Where is it? Right over Indiana. Hasn't moved. Same pattern. And then Wednesday, it starts to get some legs on it. But remember, there's a new low that may come in later next week. That would bring some cooler air briefly, but it would also just keep things spinning. Notice how the showers stay across the Great Lakes. Maybe some snow in the UP of Michigan with that cold air aloft. I'm not worried about that here locally. And then the pattern would get moving, and we would bring in warmer temperatures with more of a drier pattern with passing cold fronts every now and then. All right. Last thing I want to show you here are the temperature trend. Is the temperature trend. Notice how we do warm up. Tomorrow's not going to be too bad. We should warm up to near 70. This comes with some humidity. Friday, not bad either until we start to turn cooler late in the day. And then here's your weekend. And this is the new kind of change to the forecast that you're probably seeing on your phone app is those temperatures have come down next week. That's because the euro is now putting us inside that cutoff low where temperatures are in the 50s and 60s versus outside of it, 70s and 80s. Eventually, we'll break out of that after perhaps another little cool hit later next week. I'm not too sure I agree with this right now. Don't worry too much about this 50 next Friday, May 9th. That's, again, all contingent on some kind of low developing and bringing a cold core of air. And that, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But I'm not banking on that right now. And then we warm up. All right, mid-May looks pretty warm around here. The other thing I want us to note, and again, if you've got any questions, go ahead and throw them in to the chat. I'd be happy to answer those here on this Wednesday night. But the other thing I want you to note, this is why we don't plant until Mother's Day. All right, this is not a slam dunk forecast, but notice what's showing up in the modeling. I mean, there's still some cold nights. See these blue areas here? Those are the overnight lows. There's still the potential, at least, for some colder nights around here. This would be a frost, probably all three of these nights if this were to come to fruition, when we have to watch a freeze in there too. And that's the following weekend. I wouldn't put too much stock into it as of right now, but just know it's possible that we could still have some frost and freeze around here. Freeze is getting less and less likely. It still is possible, but really the frost is the other thing we're worried about. So those annuals, unless you want a lot of work at covering this stuff up when you get them in your gardens, I would hold off on it for now. I really would. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with. All right, let's talk about any questions you guys have. Alan says, have your umbrella tomorrow. Absolutely, Alan. That's the way to do it. Good soaking for rolling sod. Yeah, Mark, I think so. Yeah, let's talk rainfall amounts, shall we? Let's go to the high-res stuff. Now, keep in mind, it's not going to fall evenly. Okay, rain never falls evenly this time of year. Okay, you get downpours in one spot. You get, not a lot of rain in other spots, but the potential's there, and you can see it here, where we're going to pick up anywhere from 1/4 of an inch, maybe 1/2 an inch. If we get some kind of line of storms or slow-moving downpours to move through, we could get into some of this Illinois action where they're talking over an inch of rain. All right, and this is just now through Friday, so this is the next 2 days. Some good soaking downpours in the mix. All right, there'll be light rain at other times, and it's not going to be persistent. It's going to be on and off, though. Okay, so yeah, some good rain there. Let's see what the NAM-NEST is saying. Pretty similar amounts. See, the NAM-NEST is showing that we could have some downpours here, like some of those heavier downpours with thunderstorms, and so that would bring 1 to 2 inches, says the NAM-NEST. A little overdone sometimes is the NAM, but that's okay. It certainly is possible over the next 24, 48 hours or so. So, yeah, great question on that. Let's see. Susan asked the same thing. Any big rainfall amounts? Yeah, so I'm glad we went over that. Jan says May 3rd is Chesterton prom. Well, right now, May 3rd is looking on the cooler side this weekend for that prom. So there you go. I mean, we'll probably be dropping into the 40s during prom night, so keep that in mind. It will be on the chilly side. Yeah, Jeff, that's the thing. I mean, we just have to see what happens. There is an advantage to planting this early, and I'm on the fence too. I've got some annuals ready to go in the ground, that I've been covering during these cool spells, and I'm ready to get them in too. And there's some advantages to getting them in because obviously they grow longer, they grow deeper roots, and they can flower either quicker or longer. And they just get your gardens and your flower beds looking good. But, the risk is if you have a freeze, there's not a whole lot you can do about that. And that could kill any annuals that you have. If you have a frost, it's just a lot of work. You just got to go out and cover them. And it's kind of hard to cover those sometimes because you want something light that doesn't crush the flour. So anyway, all that to say, you're either going to put in the work one side or on the other side. But there's, with the chance of some colder temperatures in the extended, it'd be a couple nights. It wouldn't be anything long lasting, but that would require some work if you got those annuals in the ground. Yeah, Michelle, I'm not looking at bad weather. That's a really good question too, Michelle. So this cutoff low would not come with severe weather next week. It would just be kind of yucky weather. I don't think it'd be too bad, especially now that things are greening up. It makes it a little easier to stomach some rain, and plus we need it. But in terms of that, we would have just kind of low clouds. We go through a cloudy period if this cutoff low settled over us. There's still a chance this low does not settle over us, settles out towards the east. And that would mean we have days of sunshine, all right? We're either going to have days of sunshine or we're going to have days of clouds and rain, and it all depends on where the system goes, okay? So kind of an early look at that. Let's see. Kristen says, how's it looking tomorrow? I'm on 435 in Jasper County, hoping for no rain at senior night. Oh, man. Well, that's the thing. It's going to be tough to tell where the rain's going to be 435. It's going to be very scattered and kind of around. The bulk of the rain with the low should get out of here in the morning, as you can see right there. This is tomorrow morning, but this is tomorrow afternoon. This is the time frame you're asking right in here, where there's going to be scattered downpours around. Doesn't mean you're guaranteed rain. The HRRR says that you are probably going to get wet around that time, and you can see similar scenario here on the NamNest, where there's just scattered pop-up downpours around during that time. So not a guarantee. Nothing that would last long, but we'll be dodging the rain around 435, unfortunately. Becky, great question. Any predictions for Mother's Day weekend? Yeah, let's jump into Mother's Day. Mother's Day weekend looks to warm up at least once we get that cool spell out of here. So Saturday's looking cool on the Euro. Here you go. Saturday's looking cooler, or Friday's looking cooler on the Euro, and then Saturday we start to warm up. So as of right now, again, this is not truth. This is a model output. The Euro has us warming up on Saturday to 73, and then on Mother's Day to 79. That's not a bad weekend. Let me look. I have not looked at the latest GFS. I usually don't give a ton of credit to the GFS. So the GFS, remember, the Euro has next Friday at 50 degrees with an area of low pressure coming through, and the GFS has it at 71. All right, that's why there's not a lot of confidence in the forecast next weekend yet. But the GFS has 80s and 70s next weekend with a cold little hit after that. Let's check a couple more. These are all the models that we go through, and they change daily. Oh my goodness gracious. This is the GEM, the Canadian model. It has us in the 40s for highs for multiple days. We're going to discard that, all right, and we'll go back to the Euro. I tend to lean Euro. These numbers, it all depends on where this low goes, but these numbers do stay pretty steady. What I will do as a meteorologist is tweak them based on either a pattern I'm seeing or, like, for example, this cutoff low, it's picking up on it coming right over us. I would keep these numbers bumped up a little bit like they were last week. If I were doing a forecast right now, I'd probably keep us in the 60s Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We'll see if the Euro bounces back to that or not. But either way, that's what we're looking at. It does look at the consensus of the modeling, except for the Canadian model. I think they hate us. That's why the model's so bad. But either way, the consensus is that we would warm up for Mother's Day weekend, which is great. Yeah, the weeds are coming out, Michelle, for sure. Yeah, Maxwell, we would have some really nice weather if that cutoff low stayed east of us. We really would. We would settle into a beautiful week with 60s and 70s and sunshine. So there's that. Jacob, in terms of severe risk tomorrow, I'm not worried about it here in Northwest Indiana. I'm not. The severe risk is going to be a little bit further out towards the east, so it's going to be more so out here where there's more instability. Another thing I'll show you is the dew points. Here's your dew points or humidity tomorrow. And notice how, yeah, we get some, but the bulk of it and the bulk of the forcing with this storm system is going to be out towards the east. So eastern, central Indiana out towards Ohio. That's where the severe risk is tomorrow. All right. Hi, Susan. Thanks for joining us. Great question as well there, Jacob. Thanks for that. All right, I think I got everything answered here. Well, that's good news. Susan, I'm sorry you're joining right now. You guys can always go back and watch. This gets posted on our Facebook page, and you can scroll back and fast forward like you can with anything else, okay? All right, hope that helps. You guys have a wonderful night. Thanks for spending time with me. Again, I know it's a busy week, and I certainly do appreciate it. Make sure you check us out on regionweather.com. We have that daily email you can sign up for on the right-hand side of the screen or at the top if you're on your mobile. We just send a daily email out every morning. Usually has a little picture and a little write-up as to what the day's weather is. Not AI. It's not by a computer. It's by a human being. It's amazing. how it works. And also, you can find our forecast all day long on XRock 1039, Indiana 1055, and Z107.1. So check us out on there as well. All right, guys. Thank you. You're welcome very much, and thank you. I appreciate you guys joining me. Have a great night. We'll be in touch this week, okay? All right.